There is something happening in your energy field right now that your physical reality has not announced yet. Not because it isn't real, not because you imagined it, but because your aura moves first. It always moves first. The electromagnetic field generated by your heart and nervous system does not wait for your bank account, your relationships, your circumstances, or your calendar to catch up before it reorganizes. It shifts at the level of frequency, at the level of coherence, at the level of what your field is actually broadcasting into the quantum field around you. And by the time your physical reality begins to reflect the change, your aura has already been living in that new signal for weeks, sometimes months. This is the part no one tells you. This is the gap that makes people quit. Not because the shift failed, not because the work wasn't real, but because they didn't know how to read the signs that were already radiating from them, clear as light, precise as a signal, unmistakable once you know what you're looking at. So today, that changes. Today, I'm going to show you 7 specific signs that your aura has already shifted. Signs that are measurable in your energy field right now. Signs that are broadcasting a new frequency, even while your physical reality is still assembling around that signal. These aren't motivational reassurances. These aren't gentle suggestions that maybe things will work out. These are precise, specific, energetically real indicators that something fundamental has reorganized in your field. And once you can see them, once you understand what they actually mean at the level of quantum mechanics and electromagnetic coherence, you will stop misreading your own light. Because that's what's been happening. You've been misreading it. You've been looking at signs of your own radiance and interpreting them as evidence that something is wrong. And that misreading, that single interpretive error, is what keeps people in the gap longer than they need to be. Let me show you what's actually radiating from us right now. If this is landing for you, here's something I want to share before we go further. Have you spent years trying to feel lit up again? Visualizations, affirmations, vibration work, and the light still won't hold? Every one of those methods is telling you to push harder, do more, add another technique. It's not working, because the issue isn't that you don't have enough light. 6 specific patterns are sitting on top of it. They're called the frequencies of forgetting. The remembering field, a quantum guide to returning to the light. You forgot you were carrying walks through all 5 parts of getting those patterns off you. Every tool you used tried to add more light. This one lifts what's been sitting on the light you already carry. The longer you wait, the harder they get to clear. So go open it tonight. The link is in the pinned comment below. Now let's return to what your field is already radiating. Your aura is not a poetic concept. It is not a spiritual metaphor or a belief system you choose to adopt. It is a measurable, physical, electromagnetic field generated primarily by your heart, which is the most powerful electromagnetic organ in your body, producing an electrical field roughly 60 times the amplitude of the brain's electrical field, and a magnetic field that can be detected several feet outside the body in every direction. The Heart Math Institute has spent decades measuring this field, mapping its structure, and documenting how it changes in response to your emotional and mental state. When your heart enters what researchers call coherence, a state where the rhythmic pattern of your heartbeat becomes smooth, ordered, and harmonically structured, the field it generates changes. It becomes more organized. It becomes more powerful. It extends further. And it begins to do something extraordinary. It starts to synchronize the fields of other people around you. Your field doesn't just broadcast, it entrains. It pulls other systems into resonance with its own pattern. This is not metaphor. This is the measurable physics of your personal energy field. And here is what this means for what we're talking about today. When something shifts inside you, when your identity reorganizes, when your emotional baseline changes, when the frequency you're running at changes, your heart field changes first. Before your circumstances update, before your relationships reflect the new version of you, before your finances or your health or your daily life catches up, your heart field has already reorganized around the new signal. It is already broadcasting the new frequency. It is already in the quantum field, already doing the work of entrainment, already pulling reality toward coherence with its new pattern. The gap between the field shift and the physical reflection is not a sign of failure. It is a structural feature of how quantum reality assembles. The field leads, physical reality follows, and between those two moments, there are signs, 7 of them. Let me show them to you now. The first sign is this: the things that used to pull at you emotionally have stopped pulling. Not because you stopped caring, not because you've become numb or disconnected or cold, but because your field is no longer resonant with that frequency. And this is a distinction that matters enormously. Think about what resonance actually means in electromagnetic terms. Two fields resonate when they share a common frequency. When the frequencies match, energy transfers between them. When the frequencies diverge, the transfer weakens and eventually stops. This is not a choice. It is physics. When your aura changes its fundamental broadcast frequency, the things that used to resonate with your old frequency stop pulling at your field in the same way. The emotional charge drains out of them. The situations that used to consume hours of your mental energy start to feel distant. The conversations that used to hook you emotionally pass through you with less grip. And the first interpretation most people have of this is that something is wrong. They think they've lost their passion. They think they've become apathetic. They think they've disconnected from life. But what's actually happened is that their field has moved. It is no longer vibrating at the frequency that matched those old patterns. And because resonance requires a frequency match, the old patterns no longer have the same access to your energy. Here is the precise thing that happens in your nervous system when this shift occurs. The neural pathways that were activated by those old emotional triggers, the ones that fired automatically, the ones that produced the same reaction every time, those pathways require reinforcement to stay strong. Every time you react in the old way, you strengthen the pathway. Every time you don't react, every time the trigger fires, and you feel the old response trying to rise, and it simply doesn't land the way it used to, that pathway weakens. This is called synaptic pruning in neuroscience. The brain literally dismantles the circuitry that isn't being used, and when that circuitry is the circuitry of your old frequency, your old emotional patterns, your old reactive identity, its dismantling is not loss. It is your nervous system catching up with your field. The gap between the field shift and the nervous system catching up is where people feel the confusion. The field has already moved. The emotional charge is already lower. But the brain hasn't fully built the new circuitry yet. So you exist in what feels like a kind of neutral zone. Not the old intensity, not yet the new clarity. Just a strange, quiet spaciousness where the old reactions used to live. What makes this neutral zone particularly disorienting is that it arrives without announcement. One day, the thing that used to send you into a spiral simply doesn't. You notice the absence of the reaction more than the reaction itself. Someone says something that 6 months ago would have occupied your mind for 3 days, and it sits there for 20 minutes and then releases. A situation arises that used to produce a specific kind of dread, and instead of dread, you feel something closer to mild inconvenience. And your first response to that absence is suspicion. You think, I must be suppressing this. I must be in denial. Something must be wrong with me for not reacting. But suppression has a texture. It is tight. It requires effort. There is something underneath it that is pushing against the lid. What you're experiencing is not that. What you're experiencing is the absence of the frequency that used to generate the reaction. The old signal is simply no longer running at the amplitude it once was. The circuitry is being pruned. The field has reorganized. If you have been feeling this, if you have noticed that things which used to consume you emotionally are sitting quieter, understand what your field is telling you. The old frequency is losing its hold. Your aura has reorganized around a new signal. And the neutral zone you're experiencing is not emptiness. It is the space your field cleared to make room for what's coming. Your aura knows, and it moved before you had the language to explain what was happening. The second sign is subtler, and it lives in your relationship with uncertainty. Because something has changed in how uncertainty feels to you. And the change is precise enough to locate. There is a specific quality of uncertainty that belongs to the old frequency. It is tight, anxious, grasping. It comes with an urgent need to resolve, to know, to control, to find solid ground as fast as possible. That kind of uncertainty is your nervous system running a fear coherence pattern, which means your heart field is in incoherence, which means your electromagnetic broadcast is fragmented and scattered, which means the quantum field around you is receiving a signal that says emergency, and the quantum field, which responds to the dominant frequency of your broadcast, assembles reality around that emergency signal. But there is another kind of uncertainty. And if you've been experiencing it lately, it means something very different about your field. This uncertainty is quieter. It doesn't have the same grip. It doesn't push you to run back to what's familiar. It feels more like standing in open space than standing on the edge of a cliff. You don't have all the answers. You don't know exactly how things will unfold. But you're not in a panic about it. You're not desperately grasping for certainty. You're just in a word that sounds simple, but is actually quantum mechanically significant. Open. Openness, in the language of field physics, is the state where your system is not locked into a single predictive pattern. The heart field in a state of coherent openness, not grasping, not contracting, not running emergency patterns, generates a smooth, ordered, expansive, electromagnetic signal. Researchers at HeartMath have documented that when subjects move from anxiety-based heart rhythms to coherent, open-hearted states, the structure of their heart field changes measurably. The incoherent field is jagged, irregular, and narrow. The coherent field is smooth, rhythmic, and wide. And the coherent field is the one that can entrain other systems. The coherent field is the one that reaches further. The coherent field is the one that the quantum field responds to with organization rather than chaos. There is a specific physiological marker for this shift that is worth understanding precisely because it makes the change tangible rather than abstract. Heart rate variability, which researchers abbreviate as HRV, is the measure of the variation in time between successive heartbeats. A high, coherent HRV is not a perfectly metronomic heartbeat where every interval is identical. It is a rhythmically varying pattern, one that oscillates in a smooth, wave-like structure. That smooth oscillation is what heart math researchers identify as coherence. And when you are in the grip of fear-based uncertainty, the tight, grasping kind, your HRV pattern becomes erratic and jagged. The intervals between beats vary in a chaotic way that reflects a nervous system running an emergency broadcast. But when your uncertainty shifts to the open, spacious kind, the HRV pattern smooths into that coherent wave structure. The same nervous system, the same heart, but a fundamentally different signal. And that different signal is what your field is broadcasting into the quantum space around you. If your uncertainty has changed quality, if it feels less like fear and more like standing in open space, your heart field has shifted into a broader coherence pattern. You are broadcasting openness. And openness at the quantum level is not a passive state. It is the state in which the field is most receptive to new pattern formation. It is the state in which reality has the most room to assemble around your new signal. The old, you needed certainty because the old field was running on a frequency that required constant confirmation to stay stable. It needed the environment to mirror it back constantly because it wasn't generating enough internal coherence to sustain itself. But a field that has shifted into genuine coherence doesn't need constant external validation. It holds its own frequency. It generates its own stability. And from that stability, it can tolerate the open space of not yet knowing without collapsing back into the old pattern. If you have been experiencing this quieter, more spacious kind of uncertainty, your field is not in confusion. Your field is in coherent expansion. And that is the second sign that your aura has already shifted. If this is landing for you, if you can feel the truth of it in your own field, take a moment to like this video and subscribe so we can keep going deeper together. Let me pause here and take you somewhere specific, a parable, because sometimes the clearest way to see your own light is to watch it move through someone else's story first. There was a woman named Selah who had spent most of her adult life being very, very good at managing everything. She managed her career with precision. She managed her relationships with careful attention. She managed her emotions by keeping them at a functional distance, close enough to feel human, far enough that they never disrupted the plan. And for years, this worked. Or at least, it produced results. The kind of results you can point to and say, "Look, this is evidence that I am doing fine." But Selah had a field. She was broadcasting something she didn't know she was broadcasting, and what her aura was radiating. Underneath all the management, underneath all the careful control, was a frequency that said, "I am not safe unless I hold this together." A frequency that said, the moment I stop managing, everything falls apart. A frequency that said, I do not trust what I cannot control. And the quantum field, which reads the dominant broadcast of your electromagnetic signature and assembles reality around it, was delivering accordingly. It kept giving her things to manage. It kept presenting situations that required her control. It kept confirming at every turn that she was right to be vigilant, because that was her signal. That was what her field was asking for. Then something happened that she did not manage well. It doesn't matter what it was. What matters is that it cracked the pattern. Something arrived in her life that her control could not fix. And for the first time in a very long time, Selah had to just stand in the middle of something uncertain and not manage it. And it was, by her own description, the most uncomfortable she had ever been. But here is what she noticed in the weeks that followed. The urgency started to quiet, not because things resolved. They didn't. Not yet. But because something in her field stopped running the emergency signal. She would wake up in the morning expecting the familiar tightness, the familiar need to get ahead of everything. And it wasn't there with the same intensity. It was still there, but quieter, like a radio station that used to come in loud and clear and was now fading. She interpreted this as depression at first. She thought she'd given up. She thought the lack of urgency meant she'd lost her drive. But what was actually happening was that her field was reorganizing. The frequency of, "I am not safe unless I hold this together," was losing its coherence. Her heart was generating a different pattern, and in the space where the old urgency used to live, there was something she had never made room for before. Quiet, not emptiness. Quiet. The kind of quiet that isn't the absence of something, but the presence of something that had always been there and never had room to be heard. It took Selah 3 months to understand that she hadn't lost herself. She had found the version of herself that existed underneath the management. And by the time her external circumstances began to shift, by the time the relationships became warmer and the opportunities became different in quality, and the things she had been working toward for years began to actually arrive, she recognized something. Her field had shifted months before any of it appeared. She had been living in the new frequency long before the new reality showed up to confirm it. She almost quit in month 2. That is the part of this story that matters to you. She almost went back to managing everything because the quiet felt wrong, because the lack of urgency felt like failure, because her reality hadn't caught up yet, and the gap was excruciating. And if she had gone back, if she had re-engaged the old frequency just to feel like herself again, she would have reconnected with the old pattern. Not because the new one wasn't real, but because she stopped broadcasting it. Your field is not Selah's field, but you may recognize the shape of her story. The moment of cracking, the unexpected quiet, the misreading of your own signal, the almost quitting. If you are in that almost quitting place right now, what I need you to understand is this. The quiet is not the absence of your signal. The quiet is your signal reorganizing, and it is the third sign that your aura has already shifted. Have you felt a moment like Selah's? A moment when your own field went quiet and you almost mistook it for something going wrong? I'd love to hear about it in the comments. Share what that shift felt like for you. Silence in your external reality does not mean nothing is happening. It means the field has moved and the physical is catching up. Let me explain why this is not just reassurance. Let me explain why this is the actual mechanics of how quantum field coherence works. Your heart field, as I described, generates an electromagnetic signal that extends several feet outside your body. That field is in constant interaction with the fields of people, environments, and quantum probability states around you. When your field is broadcasting a coherent signal, a signal that is organized, smooth, and stable, it begins to do something that researchers call entrainment, which is the process by which one oscillating system pulls another into synchrony with its own frequency. This is not metaphor. You can observe entrainment in pendulum clocks placed on the same wall. You can observe it in the synchronization of firefly flashing. You can observe it in the way a tuning fork can cause another tuning fork across the room to begin vibrating at the same frequency without being touched. Entrainment is a fundamental feature of how oscillating fields interact. When your heart field shifts into a new coherence pattern, it begins the process of entraining the fields around it. But entrainment takes time. The surrounding system, whether that's a relationship, an environment, a set of circumstances, has its own existing frequency, its own existing pattern. Pulling it into resonance with your new signal is not instantaneous. It happens in layers. First, the most responsive elements shift. Then, the more resistant ones. Then, the deeply structural ones. And during the period when entrainment is happening but hasn't completed, your physical reality looks exactly like nothing is happening. This is not silence as absence. This is silence as the lag time between your field reorganizing and the physical world completing its entrainment response. The field has moved. The entrainment is in process. The physical confirmation is coming. But in between, there is a period of apparent stillness that is actually the most active phase of the entire process. Think of it this way. When you strike a tuning fork and hold it near another tuning fork of the same frequency, there is a brief moment before the second fork begins to vibrate. In that moment, nothing appears to be happening. But the first fork's field is already doing its work. The energy is already transferring. The second fork is already beginning to respond at a level that isn't yet visible as sound. The vibration is building. And then, suddenly, it's audible. Your life is the second tuning fork. Your field is the first. And right now, in the silence, the vibration is building. There is a specific quality to this silence that distinguishes it from the silence of stagnation. And learning to feel the difference is one of the most important skills you can develop during the gap. Stagnation has a flat quality. It feels like nothing is moving, nothing is building, nothing is organizing beneath the surface. The silence of entrainment in process feels different. It has a kind of charged quality to it, the way the air feels before a storm, not threatening, but full. There is something underneath the stillness that has weight and direction to it. You may not be able to name what's coming, but some part of your field knows that something is in motion. That charged quality, that fullness underneath the apparent stillness, is your field's way of registering that the entrainment process is active even when the surface of your life looks unchanged. If you have been sitting in this silence, if you have been watching your external reality for signs that something has changed and finding mostly stillness, understand what your field is telling you. The entrainment is in process. Your aura has already shifted. The physical is assembling, and the silence is not failure. The silence is the moment before the second tuning fork begins to ring. Now let's do something with your field right now. Because understanding this isn't enough. You need to feel it in your body, in your actual electromagnetic field, so that the understanding becomes something your nervous system knows, and not just your mind. Place one hand on the center of your chest, not gently, with real intention. Let the weight of your hand be a signal to your body that you are directing attention here. Take a breath in through your nose, slow and full. And as you breathe in, imagine the breath moving directly into the space beneath your hand, the center of your chest, the location of your heart field's primary generation point. Hold the breath for just a moment at the top, not with tension, with presence, as if you are pausing at the threshold of something. Now breathe out slowly. And as you breathe out, imagine the field around your body expanding, not just in front of you, in every direction, behind you, to your sides, above you, below you. A sphere of electromagnetic light that your heart is generating right now, in this moment, regardless of what your circumstances look like, regardless of what has or hasn't appeared in your physical reality yet. This field is real. It is measurable. It is active. It does not require your circumstances to confirm it in order to exist. Now, with your hand still on your heart, I want you to bring to mind one of the 7 signs we've already covered. The emotional detachment that felt like loss, the quieter uncertainty, the stillness that felt like silence. Bring one of them into your awareness, and this time, instead of reading it as evidence that something is wrong, I want you to feel it as what it actually is. Feel it as the sensation of your field having moved. Feel the gap between your field and your reality not as a void, but as a space that is actively filling. Feel the silence not as absence, but as the moment before the second tuning fork rings. Breathe into that feeling. Let your heart field organize around it. Let your electromagnetic signature, which is broadcasting right now, carry that coherence outward. This is not visualization for its own sake. This is heart coherence practice, and it has measurable effects on the structure of your electromagnetic field within minutes. When you consciously direct your attention to your heart and pair it with a positive, expansive emotional state, the rhythmic pattern of your heartbeat shifts. The field it generates becomes more ordered. The signal it broadcasts becomes more coherent, and a more coherent signal has more entrainment power. It reaches further. It pulls more of your surrounding reality into resonance with its new pattern. You just did something real. Your field just shifted in a measurable way. And every time you return to this practice, every time you consciously direct your heart's attention toward the frequency you're building, rather than toward the gap between your field and your physical reality, you strengthen the new broadcast. You shorten the entrainment lag. You accelerate the assembly of your physical reality around your new signal. Stay in that for another breath. Then, let's continue. The fourth sign that your aura has already shifted is one that tends to catch people off guard because it arrives not as a feeling, but as a noticing. Specifically, you start noticing things that don't belong to your old frequency. Not in a dramatic way, not in a way that announces itself, but in small, almost peripheral moments. You notice things that are consistent with the new signal you're broadcasting. A conversation that touches exactly the right thing at the right moment. An idea that arrives with unusual clarity. A person who shows up and seems to be operating at a frequency that feels more like where you're going than where you've been. These are not coincidences, and they are not magical either. Not in the sense of being outside the laws of physics. They are the first evidence of entrainment completing at the most responsive edges of your reality. Here is the specific mechanism. Your heart field, broadcasting a new coherent signal, begins to interact with the quantum probability field around you. Quantum mechanics describes reality not as a fixed, predetermined sequence of events, but as a field of probabilities, of possible states that exist in superposition until observed. The frequency of your observation, the frequency of your heart field, and the attention it generates influences which probability states collapse into actual experience. This is the observer effect, and it operates not just in laboratory conditions with subatomic particles, but in the lived experience of your daily life, because you are an electromagnetic observer, and the field you generate is constantly influencing which probability states are most likely to enter your experience. When your field shifts to a new frequency, the probability states most resonant with that frequency become more likely to collapse into your experience. Not all at once, not dramatically, but at the edges, in the small moments, in the peripheral noticings. The things that belong to your new frequency start appearing in your peripheral vision before they appear at the center of your life. This is why the fourth sign is a noticing, not an arrival. The big things take longer because they require more entrainment. The small things, the ones that don't have as much existing frequency to overcome, those shift first. And if you're paying attention to the right things, you'll see them. A conversation that shouldn't have happened, happening. A resource appearing in an unexpected place. A quality of interaction that feels different from the old pattern. Lighter, more aligned, more resonant with where you're actually going. Here is something specific about the quality of these peripheral noticings that distinguishes them from random positive events. They tend to arrive with a particular kind of recognition. Not surprise, exactly, but something more like familiarity. As if you have encountered something that your field already knew was coming, even though your mind didn't. You meet someone, and within the first few minutes of conversation, there is a quality of resonance that feels disproportionate to how recently you've known them. You encounter an idea, and it doesn't feel like new information. It feels like something you were already thinking, but hadn't yet found words for. You walk into an environment, and something in your field responds to it before your conscious mind has assessed it. That quality of prior recognition, that sense of your field knowing something before your mind does, is the electromagnetic reality of resonance. Your field is already tuned to the new frequency. It recognizes what belongs to that frequency before your conscious attention has processed it. And the recognition itself is data. It is your aura, showing you the leading edge of what is assembling. If you've been dismissing these as too small to count, I want to reframe that for you. They are not too small to count. They are the leading edge of your field's entrainment completing. They are the first tuning forks in your environment beginning to ring. And the fact that you're noticing them means your field is already resonant enough with the new frequency to recognize what belongs to it. That recognition is itself a form of coherence. Your field knows its own signal, and it is showing you the first reflections. The fifth sign lives in your body, and it is this: there are moments, brief but distinct, where you feel a quality of settledness that doesn't come from your circumstances. Not contentment, exactly. Not happiness in the conventional sense. Something more like groundedness. Like you are standing on something that doesn't require your external reality to hold it up. And these moments don't last long at first. They come and go. But they are different from anything you felt at the old frequency. Because at the old frequency, your sense of stability was entirely borrowed from your circumstances. When things were good, you felt stable. When things were uncertain, you felt unstable. The stability was always a reflection of the external environment, never something generated from within your own field. But when your aura shifts into genuine coherence, when your heart field reorganizes around a new, more ordered signal, it begins to generate something that researchers in the field of cardiac coherence call internal stability, which is the capacity of the nervous system to maintain a regulated, coherent state independent of external inputs. This is not the same as emotional numbness or detachment. It is the opposite. It is the capacity to be fully present with whatever is happening in your external reality without being destabilized by it. To feel the uncertainty without becoming uncertainty. To sit in the silence without becoming silence. The moments of settledness you've been feeling, the ones that seem to arrive without external cause, are your nervous system learning the new frequency. They are your body catching up with your field. And they are significant not because of how long they last, but because of what they are evidence of. They are evidence that your system is capable of generating coherence from within. That you are no longer entirely dependent on external confirmation to feel stable. That your field has enough internal organization to hold itself together even when the outside world hasn't caught up yet. The specific location in your body where this settledness tends to register is worth noting because it is not random. Most people feel it in the lower chest and upper abdomen, the region where the heart field's influence on the enteric nervous system is most direct. The gut and the heart are in continuous electromagnetic dialogue. And when the heart field achieves coherence, the enteric system often responds with a quality of settling that is distinct from the tension that lives there during incoherence. If you have noticed a physical quality of settling in your chest or upper belly during these moments. You are feeling the enteric nervous system responding to your heart field's new coherence pattern. That physical sensation is not imagination. It is your body's electromagnetic network registering the shift. This is the fifth sign, and it is one of the most important ones, because internal stability is not just a pleasant experience. It is the condition that allows the entrainment process to complete. A field that keeps collapsing back into incoherence every time the external reality doesn't confirm the new signal keeps interrupting its own entrainment. But a field that can maintain coherence through the gap, that can stay in the new frequency even when the physical reality hasn't caught up yet. That field completes the entrainment. That field pulls the physical reality all the way through. Your moments of settledness are your field telling you it can hold. It can sustain the new signal through the gap. And that is everything. Now let's go deeper into what your aura is actually doing during this gap, because there is a layer of field mechanics that most people never encounter, and it explains something that has probably confused you. When your electromagnetic field shifts into a new coherence pattern, it doesn't just start broadcasting a new signal outward. It also starts doing something inward. It starts reorganizing your perception. And this reorganization of perception is what produces one of the most disorienting experiences of the shift. You start seeing your old life differently. Not dramatically, not in a way that produces grand revelations, but in small, persistent ways. The narrative you used to tell about yourself starts to feel slightly off, like a coat that used to fit and now sits wrong at the shoulders. The interpretations you used to apply automatically to your experiences start to feel less automatic. The meaning you used to derive from certain situations starts to feel less certain. This is the sixth sign, and it is frequently misread as a loss of identity, as instability, as some kind of psychological unraveling. But what it actually is, at the level of field mechanics, is your electromagnetic field reorganizing your perceptual system around its new frequency. Here is the precise mechanism. Your heart field and your brain are in constant two-way communication. The heart sends more signals to the brain than the brain sends to the heart. This is documented neurologically, and the quality of those signals, whether they are coherent or incoherent, ordered or chaotic, directly affects how the brain processes information, how it filters perception, what it highlights, and what it ignores, what patterns it recognizes, and what patterns it misses. When your heart field is running an incoherent pattern, the brain receives signals that reinforce narrow, threat-focused, past referencing perception. It tends to see what it already knows. It tends to interpret new information through old frameworks. It tends to confirm the existing pattern. But when your heart field shifts into coherence, the signals it sends to the brain change. The brain begins to receive inputs that support broader, more open, more present-focused perception. And as it does, the old interpretive frameworks start to loosen. The old narratives stop feeling as automatic. The old meanings stop feeling as solid. Not because they were wrong, necessarily, but because your field is no longer generating the signal that made them feel inevitable. This loosening of your old perceptual frameworks is not confusion. It is your brain updating its operating system to match your field's new frequency. And during the update, there is a period where the old system is no longer running smoothly, and the new system isn't fully installed yet. And in that period, things feel less defined. Your sense of who you are, what you want, how you interpret your own story, all of it sits in a kind of productive ambiguity. The productive part is important because this ambiguity is not empty. It is full of possibility. It is the state in which new interpretations, new narratives, new ways of understanding yourself and your life can actually take root. The old frameworks, when they were solid and automatic, didn't leave room for new ones. But now that they're loosening, there is space. And what grows in that space is not confusion. It is the new story your field is already broadcasting. One specific way this perceptual reorganization shows up that tends to surprise people is in how they experience time. At the old frequency, time often felt pressured, as if there was never quite enough of it, as if you were always slightly behind the pace of what needed to happen. This is the temporal signature of a nervous system running an incoherent, urgency-based pattern. But as the field shifts into coherence, the experience of time changes. Not because time itself is different, but because a coherent nervous system processes temporal information differently. There can be a quality of spaciousness in the present moment that wasn't there before. A sense that the moment you're in is sufficient, complete, not merely a corridor to the next thing. If you have been noticing that your relationship with time feels slightly different, that moments feel fuller, or that the urgency around the pace of your life has eased, even slightly. That is your perceptual system updating around your field's new coherence. It is the sixth sign expressing itself in the dimension of time. If you have been feeling like your sense of self is slightly less solid than it used to be, if the narrative you used to tell about who you are and where you're going doesn't feel as settled, if you find yourself questioning interpretations that used to feel automatic, understand what your field is telling you. Your perceptual system is updating. Your brain is catching up with your heart. And the loosening is not loss. It is room. The seventh sign is the one that tends to arrive last among the seven. And it is the one that is most directly visible in your behavior rather than your internal experience. You have started doing things differently, not because you decided to, not because you made a plan or set a goal or committed to a new habit, but because the old way of doing things simply stopped feeling like the path of least resistance. You find yourself making choices that are subtly but distinctly more aligned with the frequency you've been building. Not dramatic choices, not life overhaul decisions, but small, consistent, almost automatic redirections toward what belongs to your new signal. You reach for the thing that nourishes rather than the thing that numbs. You speak with a directness that surprises you. You leave conversations earlier than you used to. You say no to things that would have required you to dim yourself in order to participate. You gravitate toward the people and environments that feel resonant rather than the ones that feel familiar. These behavioral shifts are not the product of willpower. They are the product of your field. When your electromagnetic field reorganizes around a new frequency, it changes the gradient of ease in your life. Things that are resonant with the new frequency become easier. Things that are dissonant become harder. Not because anything external has changed yet, but because your field is no longer generating the internal support that made the old patterns feel natural. This is one of the most concrete and measurable signs of an aura shift, because it shows up in your actual behavior in ways that are observable. You can look back over the last few weeks or months and see the pattern of small redirections. The moments where you chose differently without quite knowing why. The places where the old pull simply wasn't as strong as it used to be. There is a specific way this seventh sign tends to manifest in the domain of speech that is worth naming precisely. You begin to say less in situations where you used to over-explain. Not because you've become withholding or guarded, but because the field-level need to justify yourself, to preemptively defend your position, to manage how others perceive you, has weakened. At the old frequency, over-explanation was a coherent strategy. Your field was seeking external confirmation of its own validity by generating agreement or understanding from others. But a field that has shifted into internal coherence doesn't need that external validation in the same way. It is already generating its own stability. And so the compulsion to explain, justify, and manage perception quietly diminishes. You say what is true, and you let it stand. You don't reach back to shore it up with additional words. This behavioral compression, this quality of saying less with more certainty, is one of the clearest behavioral signatures of a field that has genuinely reorganized. If you have noticed it in yourself, even once, even briefly, it is the seventh sign making itself visible. If you've been noticing this, if you've been making small, consistent choices that feel more aligned with where you're going than where you've been, your field is not just broadcasting a new frequency. Your field is demonstrating it. You are living in the new signal even before your physical reality has fully assembled around it. And that is the seventh and most grounded sign that your aura has already shifted. Let me take you back to Selah for a moment, because her story has a second chapter that I haven't told you yet. 3 months into the shift, in the middle of what she called the silence, Selah noticed something small. A colleague she had never spoken to much began seeking her out for conversations. Not about work, about ideas, about things that mattered. And Selah noticed that these conversations felt different from her usual interactions. They felt resonant. They felt like they belonged to a version of her life that she hadn't yet built, but could feel the shape of. She almost dismissed it. She almost said to herself, "This is too small. This doesn't count. Nothing has really changed." But something in her field recognized it. Something in the electromagnetic broadcast she was generating knew that this conversation, this person, this quality of connection belonged to the new signal. And instead of dismissing it, she followed it. That conversation led to an introduction. That introduction led to an opportunity. That opportunity was the first visible, external, undeniable confirmation that her field had been doing its work all along. But here is the thing she told me later. And this is the part I want you to hear. She said the conversation felt like confirmation of something she already knew. Not surprise, not relief. Confirmation. As if some part of her had been certain this was coming, even when her mind was in doubt, as if her field had known the whole time. That knowing is not mystical. It is the coherence of a field that has already shifted and is simply waiting for the physical to catch up. When your aura is broadcasting a new signal with genuine stability, there is a quality of knowing that comes with it. Not the knowing of certainty about specific outcomes, but the knowing of coherence, the knowing of a signal that is clear and sustained and real. Your field knows its own frequency, and when it is stable in a new one, it knows that frequency is real even before the physical world confirms it. This is the thumbnail truth. You're already there, not in your physical circumstances, not yet, but in your field, in your electromagnetic broadcast, in the signal your heart is sending into the quantum field around you. You are already broadcasting the new frequency. You are already doing the work of entrainment. You are already living in the new signal, and the physical reality is catching up. Now I want to go deeper into one specific piece of field mechanics that I think is the most important thing you can understand about this gap, about this period between your field shifting and your physical reality reflecting the shift. Because there is a specific way that people interrupt the process without knowing it. And understanding this will change how you navigate the gap. When your field shifts and your physical reality hasn't caught up yet, the mind does something very specific. It begins to look for evidence. It scans the environment for confirmation that the shift is real. It looks at the bank account, the relationship, the career, the body, the circumstances. And when it doesn't find the confirmation it's looking for, it generates doubt. And doubt, in the language of electromagnetic fields, is not just a thought. It is a frequency. It is an internal state that produces a specific pattern in your heart field. A pattern that is, by definition, dissonant with the coherent signal you've been building. And here is the critical thing. When doubt generates an incoherent heart pattern, even briefly, it interrupts the entrainment process. Not permanently, not catastrophically, but it introduces a competing frequency into your broadcast. And a competing frequency weakens the coherence of your signal. It makes the entrainment take longer. It gives the old pattern something to hold on to. This is why the gap feels so uncomfortable. Not just because nothing is happening externally, but because the mind's response to to the gap, the scanning for evidence, the generation of doubt, actively interferes with the field's work. The very act of checking whether the shift is real is the thing that slows the shift down. This is not a reason to feel bad about doubt. Doubt is a natural response of a nervous system that has been conditioned to require external confirmation. It is not a moral failing. It is a pattern. And like all patterns, it can be recognized and worked with. The practice is not to eliminate doubt. The practice is to notice when you're scanning for evidence and to redirect your attention back to the coherence of your own field, back to the signal you're generating, back to the 7 signs that are already radiating from you. Because here is what the evidence scanning misses. The evidence is already there. It is in your field. It is in the 7 signs we've been exploring. The emotional detachment that is actually frequency reorganization. The quieter uncertainty that is actually coherent expansion. The silence that is actually entrainment in process. The peripheral noticings that are the leading edge of your new reality assembling. The moments of settledness that are your nervous system learning the new frequency. The loosening of your old perceptual frameworks that is your brain updating to match your field. The small behavioral redirections that are your field demonstrating its new signal in real time. These are not nothing. These are everything. These are the evidence. They are just not the kind of evidence the mind was trained to look for. The mind was trained to look for external confirmation. But the real evidence of a field shift is always internal first. It is always in the quality of your experience, in the texture of your consciousness, in the subtle but precise changes in how your field is interacting with the world around you. When you learn to read these signs, when you can look at the gap between your field and your physical reality and see it not as evidence of failure, but as evidence of the process working exactly as it should, something happens in your field. The doubt frequency weakens. The coherence of your signal strengthens. The entrainment accelerates. Because you are no longer introducing a competing frequency into your broadcast. You are sustaining the new signal through the gap. And that sustained coherence is what completes the process. Let me give you something specific to work with here. A practice that is different from the heart coherence. Practice we did earlier. This one is about reading your own field, about learning to use the 7 signs as a navigation instrument rather than scanning your external circumstances for evidence. Once a day, ideally in the morning, before your mind has fully engaged with the demands of the day. I want you to take 3 minutes and run through the 7 signs as a field check, not as a performance, not as a ritual, as a genuine inquiry into what your electromagnetic field is actually doing. Ask yourself, where am I with the emotional charge of the old patterns? Not have they disappeared, but are they lighter than they were? Is there less grip? Is there less automatic pull? If yes, even slightly, that is sign 1 active. Ask yourself, what is the quality of my uncertainty right now? Is it the tight, grasping kind, or the open, spacious kind? Is there any quality of groundedness underneath the not knowing? If yes, even briefly, that is sign 2 active. Ask yourself, is there silence in my external reality right now? And can I hold that silence as entrainment in process rather than as failure? Can I feel, even for a moment, the second tuning fork beginning to vibrate? If yes, that is sign 3 active. Ask yourself, have I noticed anything in the last 24 hours that felt more resonant with where I'm going than where I've been? Not a big thing, any small thing. A conversation, an idea, a resource, a quality of interaction. If yes, that is sign 4 active. Ask yourself, have I had any moments, even brief ones, of settledness that didn't come from my circumstances? Any moments of feeling grounded in something that my external reality wasn't providing? If yes, that is sign 5 active. Ask yourself, has any part of my old narrative about myself felt less solid, less automatic, less inevitable? Has any old interpretation of my own story started to feel slightly off? If yes, that is sign 6 active. Ask yourself, have I made any small choices in the last 24 hours that felt more aligned with where I'm going than where I've been? Any small redirections? Any places where the old pull was weaker? If yes, that is sign 7 active. You don't need all 7 to be fully active. You don't need them to be dramatic. You need them to be real. And if even 3 or 4 of them are present, even slightly, your field has already shifted. The evidence is already there. It is just internal rather than external. It is in your field rather than in your circumstances. This daily field check does something specific in your electromagnetic system. It redirects your attention from the external evidence scanning that generates doubt to the internal field reading that generates coherence. And coherence, as we've established, is what completes the entrainment. What you attend to with your heart, you strengthen. What you strengthen, you broadcast. What you broadcast, reality assembles around. Every morning that you do this check and find even one sign active, you are strengthening the new signal. You are sustaining the broadcast. You are keeping the entrainment in process, and you are shortening the gap between your field and your physical reality. There is something I want to address directly because I know it's in the room. The doubt that says, but what if this is just a way of convincing myself that something is happening when nothing actually is? What if the signs are just rationalizations? What if the gap is just the gap and there's nothing on the other side of it? I want to sit with that doubt for a moment, not dismiss it, because it deserves a real answer. The signs we've been exploring are not interpretations you impose on your experience to feel better. They are specific, measurable, neurologically, and electromagnetically grounded changes in the way your system is operating. The weakening of emotional charge is a neurological event. The shift from fear-based to open uncertainty is a change in your heart rhythm pattern. The moments of settledness are your autonomic nervous system moving toward coherence. The loosening of perceptual frameworks is your brain updating its predictive models. The behavioral redirections are your nervous system following the gradient of your field's new frequency. These are not imaginary. They are real. And the doubt that questions them, while understandable, is itself a sign. Because the doubt is not the calm, clear assessment of someone whose field is stable. The doubt is the old frequency trying to reassert itself. It is the old pattern, the one that required constant external confirmation to feel real, trying to pull your field back into its familiar incoherence. The question is not whether the shift is real. The question is whether you will sustain it, whether you will keep broadcasting the new signal through the gap, whether you will read the internal evidence accurately rather than looking for external confirmation that hasn't arrived yet, whether you will let the second tuning fork ring in its own time rather than reaching over and striking it yourself. Because forcing the external confirmation, trying to manufacture evidence that the shift is real by pushing your circumstances to change before they're ready, is the same as interrupting the entrainment. It introduces urgency into your broadcast, and urgency is a frequency, and it is not the frequency of your new signal. The new signal is coherent. It is stable. It is patient, not in a passive way, not in a resigned way, but in the way of something that knows its own frequency and trusts it. It is patient in the way of the first tuning fork, which doesn't rush the second one. It just keeps vibrating clearly, steadily, coherently, and lets the physics do its work. Your aura is the first tuning fork. Your physical reality is the second. And right now, in this moment, your field is vibrating clearly, steadily, coherently. Let it work. I want to spend some time now on something that is specific to this particular gap, to this particular phase of the shift that I think is the most underappreciated piece of the whole mechanics. And it has to do with the relationship between your field and the fields of the people around you. When your aura shifts, the people in your life feel it before they understand it. Not consciously, not in a way they can articulate, but electromagnetically. Your heart field, broadcasting a new coherent signal, begins to interact with their fields, and their fields respond. And the response is not always what you'd expect. Some people in your life will move closer. They'll seek you out more. They'll find themselves wanting to be in your presence without knowing why. This is resonance. Their fields are responding to the coherence of yours. They are being entrained gently toward your new frequency. And their movement toward you is one of the early external signs that your field has shifted, one that you might be noticing without fully recognizing what it means. But some people in your life will move away, or they'll become subtly uncomfortable around you, or they'll start challenging the new version of you in ways that feel destabilizing. And this is also resonance. Their fields are responding to the dissonance between your new frequency and the frequency of the relationship pattern you've shared with them. If the relationship was built on the old frequency, on the old dynamic, on the old version of what you were broadcasting, your new signal is introducing a dissonance that their field registers as friction. Not because they're bad or wrong, because the frequencies no longer match. This field-level friction in relationships is one of the most confusing and painful aspects of the shift, because it can look like the relationships are getting worse. It can look like the shift is costing you something important. And the mind, scanning for external confirmation that the shift is real and good, sees this friction and interprets it as evidence that something has gone wrong. But what is actually happening is that your field is doing a kind of natural sorting. The relationships that can grow into your new frequency are growing. The relationships that were only coherent at the old frequency are showing their edges. And this sorting is not loss. It is your field being honest about what belongs to the new signal and what doesn't. There is a third category that tends to go unnoticed in conversations about relational friction during a field shift. These are the people in your life who neither move clearly toward you nor clearly away, but who seem to be in a kind of suspended uncertainty in your presence. They are neither more comfortable nor more uncomfortable. They are simply less predictable. They respond to you in ways that feel slightly off script from the dynamic you've always had with them. This is the electromagnetic signature of a field that is in the process of deciding. Their system is registering the dissonance between your new frequency and the old relational pattern. But it hasn't resolved that dissonance into either resonance or friction yet. It is still in the assessment phase. And what determines which direction it goes is, in large part, whether you hold your frequency clearly and consistently enough for their field to complete its own entrainment process. The people in this suspended middle ground are often the ones who, given sustained exposure to your new coherent signal, eventually become the most aligned relationships in your new reality. They needed more time, not because they were resistant, but because the entrainment process was slower for them. And your job with them is the same as your job with your circumstances. Hold the frequency. Let the physics work. The people who move toward you during the shift, who seek you out, who feel more comfortable around you, who seem to arrive in your life with a quality of resonance that feels different from the old pattern. These are the leading edge of your new reality's relationship landscape. They are the first evidence that your field is already attracting what belongs to the new frequency, and they tend to arrive before the big external changes. They are the peripheral noticings, the small confirmations, the first tuning forks in your relational environment beginning to ring. Pay attention to them. They are not coincidences. They are your field showing you its work. And for the relationships that are showing friction, the ones that feel more uncomfortable, more challenging, more dissonant since the shift, I want to offer you this. You don't need to force resolution. You don't need to explain your shift to anyone who isn't ready to understand it. You don't need to dim yourself back to the old frequency in order to preserve the comfort of the old dynamic. What you need to do is hold your frequency clearly, steadily, coherently, and let the relationship find its own level in response to your new signal. Some will adapt, some won't. But either way, your field's job is not to manage the response. Your field's job is to maintain the broadcast. There is a name for the tendency to dim yourself back to the old frequency in order to preserve the comfort of relationships that were built on the old pattern. It is not kindness. It is not selflessness. It is frequency management. And frequency management is the most common way people interrupt their own shift. They feel the friction in a relationship. They feel the discomfort of the dissonance, and they pull back. They re-engage the old signal. They make themselves smaller, quieter, less coherent, not because the shift wasn't real, but because the relational friction felt like evidence that the shift was wrong. And the moment they do that, the entrainment stops. The old pattern reasserts itself. The field collapses back toward the old frequency, and they have to begin the process of reorganization again. If you have been doing this, if you have been dimming yourself in response to relational friction, I want you to hear this clearly. The friction is not evidence that your shift is wrong. The friction is evidence that your shift is real. A field that hasn't actually shifted doesn't create friction. It just stays in the old resonance. The friction is the signal that your new frequency is strong enough to create a dissonance with the old pattern. It is evidence of power, not failure. Hold your frequency, not aggressively, not defensively, just clearly. The way the first tuning fork holds its frequency, not by trying to force the second one to ring, but by continuing to vibrate at its own frequency, steadily, without apology, and letting the physics do what physics does. Have you noticed your own energy field affecting a room, or felt people responding to you differently as your frequency shifted? Drop it in the comments. I read everyone, and your experience might be exactly what someone else needs to hear right now. Let me bring this all together now, because I want to leave you with something that is both precise and felt, something that lives in your body as well as your understanding. The 7 signs we've explored today are not a checklist of things to perform. They are a map of what's already happening in your field. They are the language your aura speaks when it has shifted, and your physical reality hasn't caught up yet. And learning to read that language, learning to recognize your own electromagnetic signature in these signs, is the most important navigational skill you can develop for this phase of your life. Because the gap is real. The period between your field shifting and your physical reality reflecting the shift is real. It is not comfortable. it is not always easy to sustain, and it is absolutely, precisely, measurably worth sustaining. Every day you hold your new frequency through the gap. You are doing the work of entrainment. Every day you read the internal evidence accurately instead of scanning for external confirmation. You are sustaining the coherence of your broadcast. Every day you allow the silence to be the lag time between your field and the physical, rather than evidence of failure. You are keeping the process in motion. Every day, you notice the peripheral signs, the small resonances, the conversations that feel different, the people who are moving toward you, the behavioral redirections, and you recognize them as the leading edge of your new reality assembling. You are strengthening the signal, and the signal, sustained with clarity and coherence through the gap, completes the entrainment. It always does. Not because of hope, not because of positive thinking, because of physics. Your heart field is the most powerful electromagnetic organ in your body. It is generating a signal right now, in this moment, that extends several feet beyond your body in every direction. That signal is interacting with the quantum probability field around you. It is doing the work of entrainment. It is pulling your external reality toward coherence with its new frequency. And it has been doing this work since the moment your field shifted. You are not waiting for your shift to begin. You are waiting for your physical reality to catch up with a shift that has already happened. You're already there, not in your circumstances, in your field, in your broadcast, in the signal your heart is sending into the quantum field around you right now. You are already broadcasting the new frequency. The physical is assembling. The entrainment is in process. The second tuning fork is beginning to vibrate. And the 7 signs are your field's way of showing you its work, of showing you that the shift is real, that the silence is not failure, that the gap is not evidence of something going wrong, that the friction is evidence of something going right, that the peripheral noticings are the leading edge of something arriving, that the moments of settledness are your nervous system learning the new frequency, that the loosening of the old narrative is your brain making room for the new one, that the small behavioral redirections are your field demonstrating its new signal in real time. Read the signs. Trust the field. Hold the frequency. And let the physics do what physics does. One more thing before we close, because I want to leave you with something specific to carry with you. A declaration, not a motivational phrase, a frequency statement, something you can say with your hand on your heart, in the morning, in the middle of the gap, when the doubt rises and the external confirmation hasn't arrived yet. The declaration is this: my field has already shifted. The evidence is in my field, not in my circumstances. I am broadcasting a new signal. The entrainment is in process. I hold this frequency clearly. I hold it steadily. I hold it without requiring my external reality to confirm it before I trust it. The physical is assembling around my signal right now. I am already there. Say that with your hand on your heart. Say it slowly enough that your body can receive it, not as a wish, as a frequency statement, as a declaration of what your electromagnetic field is already doing, because it is already doing it. If this video found you at the right moment, consider returning to it during a quiet morning before the day begins, or in the stillness before sleep, when your field is most receptive and open. Those are the moments when the words move deepest. And if you know someone whose light needs reminding, sharing this creates something real. It activates their awareness of their own field. And when two auras recognize their own radiance at the same time, they strengthen each other through resonance. That is how the collective luminosity grows. Your aura has already shifted. Your light is broadcasting a new signal. Your field is doing the work of entrainment. And your physical reality is catching up. You don't need to rush it. You don't need to force it. You don't need to manufacture external confirmation to make the internal reality more real. It is already real. You are already there.